Shipwrecked, Chapter 2, Marooned. The Kona winds hurtle towards an enormous rock, surging out of the ocean. It breaks apart every wave that crashes against it. We're headed straight for it. I won't lose another boat. Annie yanks the wheel to the side, her jaw clenched. A creaking noise sounds as the ship shudders and tilts. You stumble and try to steady yourself. Grab for the mast. You launch yourself towards the tall mast and wrap your arms tightly around it. Much better. She remains firmly in place as she cranks the wheel with all her might. The boat lurches as you hold on for dear life. Almost there. But it somehow stays in one piece, nearly missing the deadly rock before uprighting itself. We actually made it. I can breathe again. You collapse at her feet, exhausted from being on edge for so long, and rest your head against her legs. I thought we were at the mast. Glad you found a pillow. I don't get how you're still standing. I have to be. It's not over until we're anchored. As the Kona winds leave the angry waves behind you, you regain your bearings and look back at the jagged rocks. No wonder so many ships don't survive. At least the view tries to make up for it. You follow her gaze and watch the fog part to reveal a tropical, mountainous coastline of Moku Island. Yep, we got jagged rocks in front of us, about 6 feet. Might want to anchor or anything. She anchors the ship as close to the cave as possible. The two of you take a small rowboat to shore and take in your surroundings. I can't believe we're actually standing on Moku Island. We must be the first people here in decades. Let's just get you those samples. Judging by the Alice, if we climb the hill here, we'll be able to descend into your cave a little ways up. We? You mean you're coming with me? I won't get paid if you fall to your death. As you start the climb, you feel a few droplets of water hit the top of your head. You look up at the encroaching clouds overhead. Well, looks like the storm followed us in. And it's moving fast. We should hurry. This won't give us much time in the caves. After climbing up the coastal hill, Anne finds a spot to rappel into the cave from. She digs through her pack as you peer down into the entrance. That's a long way down. Which is why you'll want this. She holds out a harness. You step through the leg holes, letting her carefully lift it over your hips. You feel a tickle in your thighs as her nimble fingers work around you. That should do it. Wait, let me check yours. It doesn't hurt to have a second set of eyes. You run your hands down the length of her body, tugging at the various straps. Your fingers pull at the harness along her firm backside. You sure are thorough. Better safe than sorry. I think you're good and tight. Puns. She hooks the two of you up, and you're ready yourself to descend. Trusting the harness with all your full weight, she looks at the storm clouds overhead. Between the tides and the storm, these caves will be underwater in an hour or two. We need to be in and out fast. You follow her inside and walk down the cave's wall side by side, carefully gripping your rope and adjusting your carabiner as you go. Slow and steady. We'll be at the bottom in no time. Suddenly your foot slips on the wet rock. You twist in your harness and start to descend faster. She catches your arm, stopping your fall. Her sturdy grip gives you enough time to secure your feet against the wall. Careful. I'm not trying to make a habit of saving you, Doc. Your bond to save you from falling. Because that would be in the book right there, right? Oh, he died. Well, time to leave. Thanks. The two of you finally reach the bottom. The moment your feet touch the ground, you gasp at the vast ecosystem thriving within the cave. That is pretty. I wonder if places like this actually do exist on Earth that remain untouched by humanity. Seriously, I would just peer from inside the cave and look down at the beauty that is within. We may be the first people ever to observe this flora. There's a bright red flower growing just beneath the water surface. You crouch down for a better view, touching your palm to the pool's cool surface. Strange place for Ohia Lehua. So the satellite imaging was correct. This is a mutated species of Ohio Lehua, that I mentioned earlier. Typically it grows inland on terrain made barren by lava flows, but this kind seems to have habitat or adapted to grow on lava rocks underground and underwater. Never would have expected a flower to be so resilient. Welcome to Mother Nature. Actually, some terrestrial plants can survive flooding or being immersed in water, but not for long periods of time, and certainly not in salt water. It takes a strong will to survive in tough environments. It sounds like you know from experience, but you're still here, just like the flower. You hold each other's gaze for a long moment before she abruptly stands and walks away, leaving you to focus on collecting some samples for a while. Fascinating. I wonder if the volcano is inspiring this kind of rapid mutation. Or perhaps this island's been isolated for so long to evolve naturally. If we analyze the genome, we could identify the genetic markers for rapid growth and then reproduce it to create super crops and change produce as we know it. Hooray, science. But we need to go now, Doc, or else we never will. You notice the light sprinkles from earlier have turned into a heavy downpour, causing the water levels above you to rise. Coming! As you go to quickly stuff your sample bag in your backpack, you spill its contents. The blossoms and soil samples disperse into the rising water. Damn it! I have to grab another. The research is too valuable to leave without it. Fine, but hurry. We don't have long. With as much speed as you can muster, you collect another blossom as water cascades in. She appears at your side, urging you towards the entrance. Time's up. I will take your equipment if you don't come. You, our captain here. She takes your hand as you splash towards the dangling ropes. You look up nervously as she helps you in your harness and tightens the straps. I brought you here, and I'll get you out. You follow her example as you ascend. Rain pelts your face, soaking your clothes as you scramble to outpace the rising water only feet below. She reaches the top and lifts herself onto the cliffside with ease. She extends her hand so close you can just brush her fingers. You can do this. Grab on. Got it. Rain continues to pour. Thunder rumbles overhead as you tumble onto the solid ground. Your body tangled in hers, she holds you securely in her arms, and you can feel the pounding of her heart as strong as your own. Is this weather normal for this area? Not this bad. Storm came in faster than I expected. We need to find shelter now. Yeah, never mind the cave. The storm consumes the last light of the horizon as you climb the muddy mountainside. In the distance, you see massive waves violently rocking the Kona winds. Look, we can see your boat from here. Crash! A crack of lightning rips through the air, landing a direct hit on the Kona winds. Mast breaks in half as a giant wave slams the ship into the rock jutting out of the sea. My boat! The two of you watch in horror as water gushes through the torn hull. The ship tips on its side, beginning to sink to the ocean floor. I'm so sorry. I know how much she meant to you. She was all I had. Now she's gone. She might be salvageable. We can assess the damage once the storm passes. But her eyes remain fixed upon the wreckage of the Kona winds. You investigate your surroundings and point towards a partially hidden outcropping just ahead. In there. That looks big enough to fit us both. You drag her into the alcove, finally out of the rain and the harsh howling winds. She collapses against the wall and buries her head in her hands. I can't believe she's gone. My boat's gone. We're stranded. You sit down beside her and wrap a comforting arm around her shoulders. I'm sorry, but she was a great ship. We need to find a way to call for help, though. Do you have any emergency supplies? A flare, radio, magnifying glass to make a signal fire? Really, dude? Really? The waterproof containers. There's an emergency radio beacon in one of them that we can use to send a distress signal. Ah, perfect. Tomorrow morning when the storm's gone, we can search for them and call for help. If we can find them. We will. I know it. You see the hint of a smile on her lips as her warm eyes hold yours for a moment. You feel an invisible pull draw you closer, until suddenly the wind whips through the alcove, sending a chill down your spine through your wet clothing. You rub your bare arms in an attempt to warm yourself. Cold, so cold. You know, it'd be a lot warmer if we shared body heat. It's Survival 101. You have to remind yourself to breathe as you imagine your body tangled with hers throughout the night and the warmth of her breath against your bare skin. Share body heat. I swear to God if this where it goes. If you think it's a good idea. You lean against her, oddly nervous at the thought of her arms wrapping safely around you, and she suddenly stands and strips down to her underwear. Okay. Your gaze wanders down her body, catching on her snug fit of her lace bra. Her hands rest on her hip, drawing your attention to the curve of her ass and her tight muscles of her legs. Never thought I'd see you speechless. I just surprised, that's all? You wanted to get warm, right? We'll be better without wet clothes. I know that, I was just... What? Distracted? Well, if you really want to get warm, you should join me. I should strip as awkwardly and fast as possible. You quickly slide your shorts down, rip your shirt off, really, and then toss the clothing aside, letting them pull with hands. If you don't warm me, I want my money back. Whatever you say. You glance over at her for the first time, her mouth is agape as she holds her steady gaze, and you feel heat rising in your cheeks. Enjoying the view? Wow. My eyes are up here. I can see that. Are you really gonna act like you didn't just oogle me too? I don't oogle! Your heart picks up its rapid pace as you sneak another peek at her near bare body. And I don't swim. You roll your eyes as you settle yourself next to her, your bare stomach pressed against hers. She hooks a leg around you, securing you against her body. You would think the infant position would be better, but I digress. A shudder runs through you as the heat of her body begins melting through you, pushing the chill out of your bones. You know, you're awfully close for someone I met less than a day ago. And you're awfully cold, so shut the fuck up. You mean you don't usually sleep with women you just met? Her eyes bore into yours, only inches away, between her bare skin pressing against yours and her arm around your waist. You have nowhere to escape from the intensity of her gaze. Relax, I'm just joking with you. Right, I knew that. Maybe if I knew more about you, it wouldn't feel as odd. Yeah, whatever you tell yourself to sleep at night. We're two strangers huddling together in the middle of a storm, and I think it gets more water than that. You tear your gaze away and catch a bead of water drip from her hair down her neck, and stopping when it reaches the hollow between her breasts. You brush your thumb over the stray droplet. You didn't really need to do that, but her heart pounds loudly beneath your hand. Thanks. How about take my hand away? Because don't have permission? You tiptoe your hand up to her bare skin, skimming the lacy edge of her bra, before settling against her neck. I've got you right where I want you. She visibly gulps. And where's that? Where we can fix that stranger's part. Tell me something about you. My name's Anne. That's not what I meant. I'm a boat captain. You are just as awkward as me. Okay. Annie. You're cute when you're flustered. Your heart races as you glare at the woman in your arms. Come on, tell me something real. She gets a distant look in her eyes before shaking her head. I've got a rough go of things. Stuff you wouldn't get. Her feather-light touch brushes your back, sending a tingle up your spine. You know, I have ways of making you talk. You trail a finger along her jawline, moving it teasingly close to her full lips. I can see that. Look, I don't like forcing these things. Let's just get through tonight. Two strangers sharing warmth. Alright, I can agree to that for now. Suddenly, a gust of wind blows at the cave. You shudder, causing a wave of goosebumps across your exposed back. You shift in her arms, attempting to get warm once more. I don't think side-by-side's gonna cut it. Well, it'd be better if you laid on top of me, I guess. He flashes a mischievous grin before rolling you onto your back in one swift motion. Oh. She slowly relaxes her body onto yours, her hands tingling down your sides, till finally, stopping at your waist. Comfy? Every inch of your body covered with hers feels like fire. You ache for her to stoke it, but all you can do is breathlessly nod. Definitely. The two of you lay in silence for a while. Simply two intertwined bodies shielding each other from the wind. She nestles her head against your neck, and you soak up as much as her heat as possible. Credit where credit's due. Annie, I'm a lot warmer now than earlier. But no response. I'm surprised. I thought you'd at least have one witty quip prepared. But nothing from her. You carefully shift to see that her eyes are closed. You notice her lightly snoring as she tightens her hold around your waist. Oh. Good night, Annie. You shut your eyes and let the steady rhythm of her breathing lull you into a deep and peaceful sleep as well. Feather-light kisses trail up your thighs, coaxing you awake. You begin to ache in anticipation between your legs. Oh, that feels good. Lips curl up between your legs as she makes quick work of your clothes, sliding your boxers down so you're bare before... What? Somebody's impatient. Please, I need you. Please tell me this is a really bad dream. Okay, there was 2 scenes. Just 2 quick scenes. Sorry, you're gonna have to walk. Huh? Oh, thank God, a dream. Okay. Listen, it was all but a dream. You wake with a start, bolding upright. Annie stands beside you, her bag slung over her shoulder. I said I'm not taking you to the beach. You have 2 feet, you can walk. Oh, yeah, of course, just give me a minute. He nods and then goes outside to wait. You catch your breath, allowing your heart to stop racing. Pull yourself together, John. Now's not the time to dream of doing that. Surprised she didn't notice the tent. Oh, moving on. You emerge from the alcove to find her looking over the broken branches and toppled trees ravaged by the storm. I hope the beacon survived all this. As you watch the runoff from the storm follow down the mountainside, you notice a bright green slick mixed in with the rainwater. You begin running after it to get closer as she calls out after you. Where are you going? You should be looking for the beacon, not whatever you're doing. I need a sample of this runoff. It could be a chemical. A chemical? Really? You suddenly feel Annie's hand yank you back, barely keeping you from walking off the edge of a cliff. Her hand remains clasped onto yours. That was a close one. Thanks. Do you have a death wish or something? Like, watch where you're going. You have a knack for saving me. You certainly don't make it easy. It wouldn't be as impressive if I did. You turn back to the runoff, but the slick of the green mixed with the water has dissipated, continuing its journey down the hill out of reach. I guess we'll never know what it was now. Your next words are interrupted by an animal's loud roar in the distance. You spin towards the noise. What was that? More danger. Let's go see what's left of my boat and stay close. You don't want to run into whatever that was. It's probably a tiny little kitten. You should run for it and pet it. Soon, you reach the beach where you first arrived. The remains of the Kona winds jut out of the sea in dozens of splintered pieces. Hey, look! We have a small raft, though. Weirdly enough, it survived. It's worse than I feared. I'm sorry. But at least we can still find the beacon. Let's check where the larger pieces went down. It's our best bet. Actually, the tide can move ships remains pretty far. Based on the time of day and directions of the wind, we should search the reef over there, but my best guess where they would have ended up. You both strip to your underwear, dip below the water. It doesn't take long before the spot several of the containers hidden amongst the coral. You tug her arm and then point to the boxes before returning to the surface. Good eye. We might make it out of here alive. You follow her back underwater to retrieve a container stuck at the bottom of the reef. You each grab a side and haul it back to the shore. I would have liked to have stared at the fish and reef underneath, but I digress. The two of you work completely in sync to repeat the process until you've retrieved all the containers you can find. You collapse on the beach next to her. Consider me shocked. I thought that'd take longer. Obviously it's because we make such a good team. Sure, something like that. You massage her pulsing arms and legs as she reviews the containers. Please tell me we found the beacon. I'm not sure I can move again. We found all the containers it could be in. Well, that's the best news I've heard all day. There is one more box in the reef, wedged between a couple rocks. Is it even worth it if we already have the beacon? It is to me. There's stuff in there that means more to me than life. And the truth is I need you. I can't do this without you. Help her retrieve the last container to boost your survival bond. Fine. If it means that much to you, I'm happy to help. Show me where it's at. A bit of tension leaves her shoulders as she motions for you to follow her below the water surface once more. You follow her through the vibrant coral till you reach a jagged rock formation. You see the last container wedged in its craggy grip. That looks pretty stuck. She makes her way to the box and begins tugging on it. You join her, bracing your feet against the rocks to pull with all your might. Why won't you budge? She shakes her head and points for you to meet her at the surface. It's no use, that thing's stuck tight. Unless... Her eyes fall on a large piece of driftwood floating in the water. That could help. What's your plan? Simple. If we can't pull it out by hand, I'll pry it out with this. Before you can get another word in, she dives beneath the water, the driftwood secure in her grasp. Her eyes alight with fury, she swims as fast as she can to the box, then wedges the piece of wood beneath the container. What's up with, like, the bubble aura around people? What? She pushes on the driftwood with all of her might, and you can see the sides of the container buckling. She'll never get enough force to pry it out with just that. Yeah, seriously, look! Look at this, like, a little weird aura around our character, like, around his chest. Like, what the hell? Wait! Your warning bubbles up to the surface. She turns to look at you, then swims up to meet you above water. What gives? I was just about to rescue the container. It wasn't going anywhere. You didn't have enough torque to budge the container. In fact, if you kept that up, I guarantee you would have punctured the side and said goodbye to everything in there. And I'm not about to let you destroy whatever's so important to you. You saved my life, and more than once. It's the least I can do. Maybe you can offer a suggestion this time? You didn't exactly give me a chance earlier. I think you were onto something before. You just need some slight adjustments. If we use a rock as a fulcrum, that should generate enough force to pry it out. You would have a sciencey answer, Doc. Just put my PhD to good use. She shakes her head as she dives back down. You follow close behind. You select a rock from the ocean floor, then quickly calculate the best position and slide it into place. Hope this holds. She braces her feet on the entrapping boulders and begins pushing against the driftwood. The box wobbles, but doesn't budge from its secure spot. Push on the driftwood. You move next to her, your shoulder brushing against hers as you add your strength to hers, pushing the driftwood with all of your might. On. The container shifts inch by excruciating inch. Your arms beginning to ache, your lungs beginning to cry for air. Finally, you stumble back as the box gives way. Thank God. You and her each grip one side of the container's handles and drag it back to the shore. Your breath comes heavy and your limbs throb, but you can't help smiling with relief as you look at the rescued container. We actually did it. Thank you. Seriously. I didn't want to let you down. You place your hands over hers on the container, holding it there for a lingering moment before she pulls away. You didn't. I couldn't have done it without you. Come on, tide's coming in. The two of you drag the final container across the sand until it's closer to the tree line. She kneels to unlock the latch. After our daring rescue, I hope everything's still intact. Only one way to find out. What's so special about it? You notice a small hole where she pried the container. Only a few droplets of water seem to have trickled in. That's because it wasn't that deep of dirt. Oh my god, shut up. Just move on. I'm not going to do a sciencey answer right now. We must have gotten it out just in time. Thanks for talking me out of the brute forcing it. I don't know what I would have done if this hadn't survived this wreck. As she reaches in to pull out a narrow black case, she opens it to reveal a finely crafted ukulele. Her face lights up as she runs her hands along the instrument's neck. Look at those intricate designs. Okay, listen. Listen, fam, we just saved a ukulele. My grandfather gave this to me before he passed. I've kept it with me ever since. It's beautiful. Can you play it? I know a song or two. Maybe if you play your cards right, I'll show you. I literally just helped you save that thing. I think I played my cards right, alright. It's a date, but first we should find the beacon. The two of you slip back into your clothing, then pick through the other containers, but the beacon is nowhere to be found. Only one place left to look. Her face falls as she pulls a large shard of metal out of the final bin's side. She digs up the mangled ruins of the beacon. Just my luck. Maybe it's salvageable? Doubtful, unless you got a time machine hidden in your field kit. No, but we do have a PhD in science. Just throwing that on there. Not even you could save this, Doc. Give it to me and find out. There has to be something we can do to call for help. Listen to me. We are completely shipwrecked and completely on our own. You pause when you hear her use your name. She takes her hands in hers, and her grip warm and comforting, despite the breeze blowing against the beach. All we can do now is find a way to survive. Together. Your mind flashes back to your dream as you meet her gaze. Oh, I am in trouble. Well, if Pixelberry keeps writing the way it is, yeah, we are in trouble. So first and foremost, you know what to do. It's there on the screen. Please do so. Please make sure to hit that like button. Hit the share button. You can share the video. You can even share the channel. And let me know what you think down below. And also subscribe for more content. It'd be greatly appreciated. Other than that, now I'll go ahead and do the sciencey crap if you actually want to remain here. So, if you ever go and take something, say a balloon, right? Blow it up. Have a sink full of water. And then, take a tiny toothpick or something. Something really tiny. Okay? And pop a hole in it. The balloon will not all pop, and the air won't all release at once, right? So, it's like when a submarine, underwater, it starts crushing something. There's air inside the submarine, right? That is one of the things that keeps it from being, one, crushed, and two, flooded with water, right? Water wants to get in, and air wants to get out. But if they have equal to centrifugal force, it's kind of give or take, right? That's why a few droplets got in while a few bubbles of air probably got out. it's kind of like an equal trade. It's alchemy in Full Metal Alchemist, basically. So I get fascinated by that shit, really. I love science. I was hugely fascinated with it in school, college, and whatnot. So that's one of the reasons why I like when I see something like that. I at least like how Pixelberry is kind of true to form with that. That is kind of good and kind of cool. But without further ado, so long story short, there is nothing going on today. There's nothing going on until Wednesday. That I believe. I could be wrong. Yes, Queen Bee, Royal Finale, Wolf Bride, I believe I'm all the way up to. Yeah. And then, unless you have VIP, which I'll say this and then we'll go. VIP is great if you have just started choices, right? You just started right now. There's tons of books. That'd be great. Unlimited keys, you get some diamonds, everything else. Sure, I could see that as a really great way if you are first starting out. But if you've been at this like I have been for 5 years, and pretty much most of this community, you look at VIP as just it's just a nuisance, and it's just something that I don't want to spend $15 on. And I think Pixelberry is starting to listen to us. Again, hopefully they listen about the rating, and hopefully Google listens too, and hopefully that gets worked out. But apparently they're not going to wait like for how many ever months they were initially going to wait for VIP to come to us normal people, right? So at least I honestly think that the way it should work is VIP has like a about a 30-day delay at the very most. 30 days. I'd accept that. As a person, as a content creator, it really sucks because I have to spend money to entertain you guys, and then I don't make the money back. So, yeah, I mean, I literally have to throw money at the screen. So, if you guys want to, and you're here, or, past this point of the video, if you want to VIP, feel free to consider links down below to support the channel, and you can also hit the YouTube join button. It's a great way of giving back to this community. It's a great way of money going in to help with me, help keep the lights on, but also, I mean, if we get to the point of being self-sufficient and I'm able to pay for VIP, that'd be great, sure. We'll be right on there every time a chapter releases, but otherwise, yeah, I'm just doing this as it comes, and then, for new books that are released in bulk, I'm just slowly catching up on that. So, thanks again for watching. Peace out.